problem is that the white missionary seems to have kind of condemned our culture, which the Bible doesn't condemn. So in the process, people are questioning everything. So we need to find out. Don't worry what the missionary said. Don't worry what people are saying now. What does the Bible say? Because that's really what matters. Why is the current confusion? According to me, the current confusion is, number one, because a lot of us in your generation do not know anything about culture. They were born just the other day. Even your own parents were born after independence. Am I right? Now, in that way, a lot of the cultures we are talking about are not things that people were involved in. So when you are told that it's okay to do this and this, or when you are getting circumcised, you do this and that, you actually don't know. Is it right? Is it wrong? If it's wrong, why is it wrong? So the first confusion has to do with the traditional beliefs are not things that you know. So when somebody calls you, you have no difficulty. The other day I was dealing with a person who told me that his sister had just called him and asked, "Can I send my son to you?" Why? The son was finishing standard 8 and was going to get circumcised. So, and he said, "I'm sending my son to you because that's what tradition requires. I'm sending my son." That is sending the son to the uncle, the brother of the mother. So he called me, "Brother Nganga, what am I to do with that? How do I react?" So I asked him a question. This is a Kikuyu. I asked him the question, why must the son come to the brother of the mother and not the brother of the father? I don't know. Does the husband of your sister have a brother? Yes. Are they born again? Yes. So can't you see that the guy is not after prayers? Because the prayers could have been said by either, isn't it? I asked him the second question. When your nephew was doing KCPE, wasn't that a very serious matter? Yes. Did you pray for him? Yes. Did he come to your house? No. So between getting circumcised and passing from standard 8, which one is more serious? He told me passing standard 8 can really ruin his life. So how come standard 8 passing, you can pray at a distance? When it comes to circumcision, you must hold him. Can't you see? It's no longer culture. It's a belief system. It is religion that believes, the Kikuyu religion believes, that if you get circumcised without the permission of your mother's brother or the blessings of your mother's brother, you could easily bleed to death. And if you don't, it's dangerous. So you must run to your brother, to your uncle, your mother's brother, to get blessings. Now it's okay. So I was able to explain to him, it's a question of religion. So your sister, although in a church and is saved, has already moved her faith from Jehovah to the God of Kirinyaga. Jehovah does not require circumcision, is preceded by blessings from an uncle. But the God of Kirinyaga requires. So the choices, and choices have consequences. So those are the things. So you cannot ignore them. That's the meaning. And I was going on like that when somebody else now called me. It was some of the more serious matter. He told me, I'm actually not feeling well. This is somebody, maybe that 40, I don't know his age, and is married with children. He told me I was called by my parents back home when they learned I am sick, because they believe the reason I'm sick is because when I was getting circumcised, we did not seek permission from my mother's brother. So they believe we go back and give him a goat and sacrifice a goat, my sickness will disappear. So Brother Nganga, again, these are people I have met in the CU, in my preaching in various campuses. What do I do? That's not another joke, because he was very seriously sick. I told him, I'm very sorry about learning about your sickness, and it's all the terminal sickness, the type that is frightening. And I can see, I will not blame your mother. Your mother has all of a sudden doubted that Jehovah has the capacity to heal everything. Some diseases are only sorted out kinyumbani. Are you getting the point? Through culture. So, and remember he told me the parents joined Christianity because he was born. So he has grown up in the church. But now, when their son gets sick, hey, now it's not a joking time. You have to determine, might there be things you have done that would make the God of Kirinyaga unhappy with you? And if the God of Kirinyaga is unhappy with you, no amount of prayer to Jehovah can work. You must go and sort it out with the God of Kirinyaga. Am I communicating? So, I told him, the young man, the choice is yours. If you actually believe Jehovah has the capacity to heal you if he chooses, and if he doesn't heal you, you are happy to go to heaven with him, whatever, then tell your mother and father with a lot of respect. You have no intention of going for the weekend because that religion they have joined is not your religion. If your parents are Muslims, do you join them? When you are saved, they now know this is you, my son, but we no longer can worship together. So when your parents turn to the traditional religion, obviously, with a lot of respect, because the Bible tells us to honor our father and mothers, you have to tell them, I respect you in everything, but in that particular one, the answer is no. So I told him the choice is yours. Now, this, and I'm still on the first introduction. Why has the confusion come? Because now, our parents, those who got saved 1920s, 30s, knew the culture. They knew the power of that religion, but they opted to come to Jesus. And they came to Jesus in totality. They now believed in Jesus, so they could not enter into those things. So they left them. But after 40, 50 years, a new generation has come that never knew then. So when you are told something, you think it's innocent, that you are just going into it. You know, our parents were so serious with Jesus that all of a sudden, somebody has been doing certain things culturally. Then they become Christians, and they no longer want to get involved. And then they are told, if you don't do it, and you have read Gogi Wandhiongo's books, haven't you? River Between, have you read it? You know those things. Gogi Wandhiongo talk about them. If you don't do what the spirits of the gods say, there are consequences. So they waited for the Christians to suffer the consequences of the spirits of the dead. Because basically our traditional religion gives a lot of power to the people that are dead. But nothing happened. They abandoned those things and nothing happened. And so a saying, in Kikuyu there is a saying, they say, Haya, you mean even the spirits of the dead fear Christians? How come when you don't do something, we suffer? The Christians fail to do something and they don't suffer. It means the demonic world fears Christians. In fact, the Kikuyu started saying, when two people don't like each other, they say, Mamenanete tagoma of the dead. Because there was nothing. Now in your generation, it has come back where you want to be a Christian so that Jesus can tackle some of the things, but the spirits of the ancestors can tackle the other things. I'm here to tell you that's not Christianity. In fact, that matter of those first Christians in the beginning of the 20th century, part of the other thing that they said that I thought was very interesting is now that the Christians are not doing those things and they are not suffering any consequences, even me, I will stop. So in Central Province, by 1960s, even Christians stopped sacrificing the spirits of the dead. So nobody was doing it. So come the new millennium, about 15 years ago, and all of a sudden people have started reactivating the spirits of the dead, and that the reason why we are suffering is because we have forgotten the spirits of the dead. My friend, when the first Christians behaved Christian totally, the non-Christians are saying, even we are going to copy Christians. They are not becoming Christians, but they copy Christians by not getting involved in the activities. And so they started saying, We now know. If you don't sacrifice to the spirits, they'll forget you. But if you sacrifice to them even one, they keep wanting more. So you give them, you give in to the sacrification story, then they'll give in during weddings. Like during weddings, all of a sudden, by the time we are getting married ourselves, when you told Amuzeh you are saved, he knew you cannot enter to that. But your generation, let's be clear, you are in a lot of trouble. Because nobody wants you to take the daughter without following the cultural requirements. And they are not after dowry. They're after the way dowry was given originally. And they say, if you don't give for my daughter the dowry properly, you have a case in the heavens. The demonic world will be on your case. And that's why, according to our ancestors, our parents said this and this and this and this. Because they said this and this and this, if you don't do it, they follow you. Are you getting the point? So for you especially, it's not a matter you can ignore. Because you fall in love with one of the other girls here in Meru University. You don't want to go to college to marry them. Then the college will tell you, you are okay, you can marry our daughter, but you must do this and this and this. That's our requirements. No, I don't want to do that. If you don't want, you leave our daughter. You have to make a choice. Whether to follow Christ and lose a wife. Or, am I communicating? Because you can't do both. You cannot be a Christian and follow the traditional religious requirements of the college. Am I communicating? Yeah, you can't. So what I'm advising young people, to get into that trick. When you visit your father-in-law's place, come right up front that you are coming as a Christian. You have no intention of following encouraging requirements, but you have come with a gift. And really, you would like, just like according to Genesis chapter 24, Genesis chapter 24? In Genesis chapter 24, Eliezer is getting a wife for Isaac. There was no dowry paid. Just read, go there back there, Genesis 24, and you'll see. There was no dowry. They said, the Lord has said, the Lord told, the Lord did. He gave a testimony. And then he said, please tell me, has my journey been blessed? Eliezer asked. He said, no, settle. He said, no, I can't settle until you tell me. The father of Rebecca says, this is of the Lord. In other words, you can go with the girl. The moment it was now clear, the journey has been blessed. He went outside and came with the gifts. Not dowry, but gifts. So when you go through the whole of the New Testament, you will see the example followed by the New Testament is of Isaac. There is no dowry payments. Go to the book of Matthew, all the Gospels. There's a lot of discussions about marriage, but never about dowry. Paul writes about marriage. Peter writes about marriage. Revelation talks about marriage, but never